What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over talking about the best linebackers right now in a college football 25 Ultimate Team, talking about which of these cards are worth picking up for you and your specific squad. Now, I didn't rank all, the 85 overalls, but any card that is an 88 or higher at the outside linebacker or middle linebacker positions are going to be included on this tier list. Now, it's crazy. We're going to start off with Abdul Carter, who I used to love, but at this stage of the game, he is just not great. And as we do dive into it, please smash that subscribe button. The problem with Abdul Carter is a couple of things. Number one, 84 speed at this stage is not great. Number two, the 70 change of direction, not great. Number three, I guess three things, coverage-wise, not great. Now, strictly getting after the quarterback, yes, Abdul Carter can do, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. Think there are better other linebackers in the game. Anthony Hill Jr. up next. I don't even honestly know. I think this card is better than Abdul Carter. 86 speed, 85 acceleration. As far as getting after the quarterback, not great, but he can drop in coverage, is 6'3", solid change of direction. So different linebacker than Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter is going to get after the quarterback better. However, Anthony Hill Jr. is going to be better, at play in the pass, those types of things. Barham up next. I don't like this card, and I know firsthand that whenever I've done these videos, that this card is just not great. 84 speed, decent acceleration, block sheds okay, pursuit's okay. He's just not good. Like, honestly, F tier. He's worse than Abdul Carter. Brian Bosworth is good, and it's crazy that I still to this day really like Bosworth, but compare him to Barham, it's not even close. 86 speed, 85 acceleration, really good tackling, solid in zone coverage, just all the way around. Bosworth walks circles around Barham, and it's not even close, not even comparable in this game. Brian Thomas Jr. up next, another card that I have not used yet this year, so we're just going to have to see exactly what this card does. 84 speed, 88 acceleration, change of direction, stinks. He gets after the quarterback decent, but honestly, he's not even as good as Abdul Carter, F tier. Clay Matthews, an absolute stud on this game. And I've got time to talk about Clay Matthews today, because I thought about picking him up last week, I didn't. But this card's a beast. Perfect, good speed, good acceleration, can get after the quarterback, can make plays in the run, can play a little zone coverage. Clay Matthews all around, an A-tier linebacker? No, he's A-tier. There are better linebackers in the game than Clay Matthews. Next up here, guys, we do see Collin Oliver, and I've been super high on Collin Oliver for a very long time, and if you want to know why, he is one of the best coverage outside linebackers we do have in the game. Now, at this stage, it's one of these things like his speed acceleration isn't as good anymore. The change of direction isn't obviously great, but he still has that 87 zone coverage, which I obviously respect. He also does get after the quarterback. His block shed's good. Collin Oliver is still a really complete outside linebacker that I do like. Just think at this point, C tier is the right spot for him. Chris Paul Jr., I think B tier. If we're going to put Clay Matthews at A tier, because there's better linebackers in the game, like I said, Chris Paul Jr. has to be B tier. I do like him though, and I have used Chris Paul Jr. for a while. It just comes down to, at this stage, we've just got better and better middle linebackers. He was fine when I ran the card. I actually had a lot of success with Chris Paul Jr. He's just not that elite level. Debo Williams up next. I feel like when I look at Debo Williams, and I'll talk about it, there's just nothing that really stands out. 85 speed, 89 acceleration. Like, yes, the block shed's great, but his coverage is bad. His change of direction's not good. He's C tier. He's not even as good as Chris Paul Jr., although he is a 90 overall. Knight Jr. up next. He's way better than Debo. It's not, again, it's not even remotely close. 88 speed, 90 acceleration, really good zone coverage. Change of direction, not quite as good as Chris Paul Jr. However, I think as far as like an overall card is concerned, you've got to you got to put Demetrius Knight Jr. in A tier. I do think Clay Matthews is better though. So when we're comparing the cards side by side or whatever, I'm not saying I'm not saying Knight is better than Clay Matthews, because he's just not. But I do think they are on the same type of level. Next up, DJ Wesolak, solid outside linebacker. The problem is, he's just been in the game for quite some time now. 86 speed, 85 acceleration, really good block shed, really good at getting after the quarterback. One thing about Wesolak that you need to know is in coverage, he's going to be really bad. Better, kind of just like a better version of like an Abdul Carter. I don't know. I'm going to put him at B tier just for the sole fact that, no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to put him at C tier. At this stage, he's not that elite level. Micah Gabayer up next. Man, what happened to Nebraska, man? They were so good, so hyped to start this season, and now we're to the stage where nobody's even talking about the Huskers anymore. It's crazy. This card's not that great, though. C tier, I think, is where the card does belong. Next up, Glasker. Glasker is a card I definitely do like, definitely do respect. Thing is, though, he's not as good as Clay Matthews, and I like Glasker because he drops in coverage as good as anybody else, and does do those things. 88 speed, 90 acceleration. But again, can't get after the quarterback super well. Good in coverage, 6'5". It's tough. I'm going to move Matthews up, and I'm going to move Glasker to A tier. Matthews is an S tier caliber outside linebacker. I don't think there's really any doubting that. Rodriguez up next, and here's a tough one. Is Rodriguez A tier? Is he S tier? I like Jacob Rodriguez. I do. Good speed, 6'1", great tackler, good block shed. The thing about it, though, is the best thing about Jacob Rodriguez is his ability to stop the run. Not great at getting after the quarterback. Not great. He's fine in zone coverage, but he's not great. I do think he's A tier. And it's crazy. I like Jacob Rodriguez, but when you compare him to Clay Matthews, I just think Clay Matthews is a more complete card. Side by side, that's where I'm at. Jalen McLeod, D tier. Not even going to pull the card up. There's nothing really special about him. There is something special about Jalen Walker, though. Absolutely is. With Jalen Walker, you're looking at maybe one of the best cards at getting after the quarterback in the entire game. 90 speed, 93 acceleration, good change of direction, great tackler. And guess what? If you do drop him into the occasional zone coverage, it's not the worst. 74 zone coverage is doable. Jalen Walker, an absolute beast at that right outside linebacker position. It's just really, really, really expensive right now in college football Ultimate Team. Jay Higgins. I've played 2 gauntlet games back to back, and he's gotten a pick 6 in both of them. You cannot sit up here in front of me and tell me Jay Higgins isn't good. He's A tier for me. A card is an absolute stud. Joseph Sip Jr. at this stage, I think is B tier, and I don't hate Sip, but I think that's where I have to be with the card. He's fine. But I do believe that is the right tier. Good speed, solid acceleration, solid tackler. Not a great user, though. Change of direction's not great. I mean, nah, I'm actually put him in a C tier. If Gabayer's C tier, so is Sip Jr. Next up, we do see Kyle Kennard. This card is a stud. Absolute stud is Kyle Kennard, a guy that I did pick up for my specific squad, and I'm never going to look back. He's got 89 speed, good acceleration, gets after the quarterback. He's not going to drop into coverage super well. But I've got to tell you guys, look at his height. He's 6'5". So I know his zone coverage isn't great. And you guys are probably like, really, Ty? Like, why are you gassing this card? His zone coverage stinks. But he's a great tackler, good block shed, gets after the quarterback, great speed, 6'5". Kyle Kennard's a beast. And when people realize it, they'll realize what they're missing out on if they're not running this card. Kyle Kennard, just an absolute stud. Luke Kuechly, an interesting card here. I do think he probably is S tier, but I don't like him for his value, if that makes any sense. Like, Luke Kuechly is objectively good. 88 speed, solid acceleration, like, good tackler. I don't love him. Like, good in coverage, 6'3". Like, I do like this card, but like 88 speed, I don't know. I'm going to put him at S tier, but I don't think he's as good as Man. Now, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Kuechly down, because I honestly think, and this is my opinion, that it's disrespectful to put Manti Te'o and Luke Kuechly at the same tier. I think it's disrespectful. You might not, but that's where I'm at with the cards. I think it's disrespectful. Manti Te'o, way better than Luke Kuechly. And it really all comes down to this. With Manti Te'o, you're looking at a card with 90 speed acceleration, really good tackler, really good zone coverage, good change of direction. The block shed's not that good. 84 block shed. Would like to see that be a little bit higher. But when you're talking about the best users in the game, you've got to at least talk about Manti Te'o. I mean, the card is an absolute beast with that speed. Mason Cobb up next. I mean, at this stage, Mason Cobb. So we went from Manti Te'o to Mason Cobb. It's just tough. Mason Cobb's dealing with a tough situation, being the card that I'm talking about right after, the best linebacker in the game. He's not the worst, though. Mason Cobb's fine. He's D tier, though, and I'm not hating on Mason Cobb. He's fine. You can absolutely run the card, but to put him any higher than D tier, I just don't think would be the right situation. Michael Banton up next. I don't know, man. Like, these are cards that, honestly, I just don't use, and I'm not hating on him. I just don't use the cards, so it's kind of tough. Did I spell his name wrong? Let's see. Batten. My fault. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Michael Batten. 86 speed, 90 acceleration, good block shed. decent in zone coverage. And so this is another one of these cards where you know what you're getting out of him, right? You know what you're getting out of Batten. Batten is going to play decent in coverage, going to have good block shed. He just can't get after the quarterback. So as long as you're not looking for an outside linebacker to get after the quarterback, Batten's fine. He's fine. Gonna put him at... I still got to put him at D tier. The card's not good. Michael Williams, you're going to go at C tier. The thing about Williams is this. He is going to do one thing really well on the field, and that's get after the quarterback. The problem is he's only got 84 speed. He's got good power move, good block shot, all those things. But he kind of just reminds me of another Abdul Carter. I'm actually going to throw him at D tier. The more I look at the card, the more I don't like him. Sean Dolak, B tier, right there with Chris Paul Jr. Both of these cards at the middle linebacker position are elite. To me, Dolak's just a slightly worse Jay Higgins. Like, I honestly think, like, that's a good comparison because I've used both the cards. I like both the cards, but I just think Jay Higgins is the better option. Sonny Styles up next. Sonny Styles is not bad. And I hope you guys are seeing this because Sonny Styles isn't super expensive, 20,000 coins, only 85 speed, good in coverage, can get after the quarterback, block shed, not great, but not the worst. Sonny Styles is fine. Gonna throw him at C tier. Stutzman should be the only card at S tier, genuinely. Like, he's in a tier of his own. Stutzman is by far and away the best linebacker in the game. The reason Stutzman's not more expensive is because he is not going to be super rare in packs. So you look at a guy like Manti Te'o, Clay Matthews. All of these cards are good cards, but they're cards that, you know, they're going to go down, or they're not going to go down in price. Teo's not. Matthews isn't. Jalen Walker is not. Kennard probably will. But Stutzman, he's a season 3 card, so he's going to continue to see his price go down. Grubbs is fine. Grubbs is C tier. The thing about Grubbs is this, and I want to pull up Stutzman first. Just look at this card, guys. 93 speed, 93 acceleration. It's literally not even comparable. This card is the best middle linebacker in the game. I know his change of direction is not great, but with that speed, he's the best middle linebacker in the entire game. Now let's talk about Grubbs for a second. Because Grubbs can do a little bit of everything. He absolutely can. He's got good speed. He's got good acceleration, you know, good in coverage, decent enough in coverage as 78, good block shed, gets after the quarterback. There's nothing Grubbs can't do on the field. He is deserving of C tier. Last but certainly not least, Basente. And is B tier a bad tier for Basente? I think that's kind of where I want to put him, although I think he's probably A tier. The thing for Basente is this. You have to know what you're getting out of the card. You have to know, right? He's got good speed. He's got good acceleration, good change of direction, you know, great in zone coverage, but his power move is horrible. Block shed is horrible. So if you're not using Basente in coverage, he's not going to be good. I like Glasgow more than Basente as well, and so I'm going to keep Basente at that B tier. That's going to wrap it up for our tier list today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on my tier list down below in the comments. Is it perfect? Who is I too high on? Who is I too low on? Let me know, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.